Yo, Thursday. And the United States of America. Contribution to GDP, gross domestic product. Now, if we start up in the top left, we can see it's gone quarter 3, 2011, and then along till quarter 2 of 2012. Quite positive, but blah, really. The number's only 1 point nothing, very blah. What we have is services, which are the golden one, pointing up, quite good. Non-durable goods, pointing up, not bad. And there was a disappointment with durable goods. Now these are different ways of looking at the GDP compositions. You've probably got the word. Components, yes. Underneath that, net exports and imports, all part of working out GDP. The two sticky up ones, the red and the blue, are exports, obviously, because they're the positive part. Red is export of services, a bit skinny. Exports of goods is very big from America. America does actually make an awful lot of goods, things, machinery type things, and bits and bobs, and what do you call them? Widgets, and does sell them to the rest of the world. America is quite a big producer, and that blue represents that. Imports coming in, goods in gold, and imports of services in green. So we'll forget the services, there's not much there. I imagine that most of that gold will be black. It'll be imports of oil. And the imports are bigger than the exports, so that diminishes the GDP final number. Top right, gross private domestic investment, change in private inventories, residential and non-residential, and they're all positive. You can see change in private inventories was not positive in quarter 3 of 2011, but they're all positive now, but not much. Down in the bottom right, we've got state and local, federal, non-defence, federal, national defence, and you can see that the federal, non-defence and national defence are flat, and state and local spending is negative. So all in all, from all of this, things come in, things go out, but the probable biggest things that are pushing down GDP, or at least not letting it rise, are still importing oil, although that's diminishing, and state and local government spending is still going down, and that is reducing GDP to lower blah levels. Number 2, this is the Doug Short equivalent of that, because there's different ways of looking. The GDP is put together in a certain way, but you can look at it in different ways. And what he's got is personal consumption expenditures, we've had that. Gross private domestic investment, we've had that. Net exports of goods and services, just the difference. Government consumption expenditures and gross investment. So there you can see a better representation, an easier representation of what we saw on the first one, with personal consumption and expenditure in blue, sticky uppy, gross private domestic investment, red, sticky uppy, and the two sticky downies are net exports of goods and services and government consumption expenditures and gross investment by government, state and local and federal. Sticky down. Right. Number 3 is real GDP per capita, which is most important. The US business cycles, this has been called, but it's really the big recessions, which is the earliest since 1975. Now the 75, 82 and 91 recessions are on the top there in red, orange and green. And what we have down at the bottom on the is quarters after the trough, as in 2009 would have been the trough of this recession, and how many quarters after that recession. For all the others, their registers up to 4 fours are 16, 4 years after their trough. And you can see they're all above the next one, which is the just put in for reference Japan's the start of its 2 decades of not very goodness, but it started off really quite badly and struggled to get going. Japan 1993 in spotty there, black spotty. 2001 recession, 4 years in, it's starting to get up there because of the housing boom and Greenspan keeping the rates down at 0. Not quite there yet because it's closer to its pits, to its bottom of the cycle, is this recession, the 2009 recession it's called, because that was when the bottom was. And it is below the 2001, which is also below Japan. And as JP Morgan's Feroli says, US is not Japan, but we can hope. As in, if the United States can get their recession as bad as Japan's, that means it will improve quite a bit, because it's got to get up to where that black spotty line is, and it doesn't look like it's going to do it yet. So for the moment, we know we're Japanified, but we're not quite as good as Japan, looking at it from an American point of view. Number 4 is Supplemental Nutrition Assistant Program, SNAP food program. I've highlighted the years 2009, 10, 11 going upwards, and persons participating in the SNAP program in 2009 was 33 million, 2010 was 40 million, and 2011 is 44 million. So in 2009 to 2011 it's gone from 33 to 44 million participants, and you can read there the benefits that they get paid and how much it costs the nation. All there, follow the link if you want more information. I forget where this is from, but whose poll is this? CNBC poll? I forget whose it is. This question for the American people. Today's economic landscape has shifted the way household financial decisions makers view their financial situation. Are you, and they find now that 38%, nearly 40% of Americans are living paycheck to paycheck. Anything else, anything that happens, they're doomed because they're living paycheck to paycheck. 40% of Americans. 30%, only 30% of Americans are feeling financially comfortable. So you can call it the 30 and 70%. 30 are feeling financially comfortable, 70% are not feeling financially comfortable. Financial decision makers have had to significantly reevaluate their expectations for retirement, and here the blue and the gold mean different years. Asked in 1997, were you expecting to retire before 65? 50% thought they could retire a little bit earlier, and now only 1/3 do. So it's gone down from a half that hoped to, now it's only a third. And for the question in 1997, are you expecting to retire at 70 or older? In other words, these weird people that like working. 15% said, yeah, I'll go for that. I love working so much. I'll keep going till I drop. And I'm sure a lot more people are enjoying their work so much more in 2012 that now 27% basically expect to retire at 70 or older. It's quite good news if this is what you want. The Case-Shiller housing index. These are are house prices going up in the country or not? You can see the great big dip down, and it tried to get back up there, as in, okay, we've had this recession, it's over. House prices on their way up, but then they started falling again. But you can see that little tail at the end. That is, it doesn't look like it is, but actually Case-Shiller is now a little witsy bit positive. In other words, across the nation, house prices are slightly going up again. That might be good news for some people, but it doesn't mean it won't go down again. On a similar subject, this doesn't quite fit in here, but it does fit in here. From Nick Tiramios from the Wall Street Journal. The federal regulator for Fannie and Freddie will not permit the taxpayer-supported mortgage giants to participate in an Obama administration program that reduces mortgage balances for certain troubled homeowners, the agency said on Tuesday. The potential benefits was too small and uncertain relative to known and unknown costs and risks, said Ed DeMarco. I'm sure Ed DeMarco didn't make it up as he was thinking in the bath. I think he will have gone to the powers that be to ask what he should do. And I'm surprised that they're not doing principal reduction on mortgages, because Fannie and Freddie are holding most of the US mortgages, and they could have made a difference, but they are not going to. What do Americans actually want? USA Today Gallup poll. I've just highlighted two. You can pause at the end here because this is the last one and read it yourself. But basically, what do Americans want? They want new good jobs being created. 92% of Americans want creation of good jobs. And I've just highlighted the third one down, which is also 86% extremely or very important find that reducing the federal budget deficit is in order. So the federal budget deficit is to be reduced, 86%, extremely or very important, but good jobs must be created. I didn't see on this list actually asking them how this was to be done. Presumably, the belief is, and I've come across it so much on the US interwebs, that if you reduce the federal budget deficit, get government out of the way, then naturally good jobs will be created. Good luck with that. Bye.